and welcome to the Homemade Podcast Sports. This is your host, Jay Pops. And welcome back to the Homemade Podcast of Sports Extra with your host, Jay Pops. Guys, on this latest edition, I just want to talk a little bit about what I've seen so far as the Big 12 media days with the Texas head coach. Yeah, I know a lot of you guys are going to come on here and say, man, what are you talking about? This is the A&M podcast. Of course it is. It still is, but I like to talk about everything. I like to go over, just about everything that I can. And from what I've seen and stuff like that. Now, don't get me wrong. I still don't like Texas at the end of the day. That's just me. I still don't like them. One of the reasons why I don't like them, though, and I'm going to keep moving from here, is because of the simple fact that the athletic department, the boosters, and most of the fans overall feel like they're entitled to a lot. That's the only reason why I haven't been liking them for years. They feel like they're entitled. The difference between us and them is that we know darn well that we weren't entitled to anything. Anything that we had to actually go out and get it or take it. I'm going to say that once again. Anything that the athletic department had to go out and get, so far as wins, we had to go out and take it. We had to take respect, in which we still don't have to this day. But we know that already. That's why we went out and we got a national championship coach. Also, at the same time, the coach that we did bring in, we knew that it was going to take time for him to get to where he wanted to be and for us as a fan base to get to where we wanted to be. That's why the athletic director accepted the 7-year deal. 7 years. I'm going to give you 7 years to get this turned around because I know it would probably take 7 years because you're in the SEC West. That's the difference. That's the big difference. But anywho, let's move along from here. But this is to the Texas fans out there, man. I just need you guys to wake up and know this here. I'm looking at Steve Sarkisian on the interview, and I sit up there, man. I watched it and I listened to him. He was the first ever coach that I've seen on a Big 12 media day, maybe since Mac Brown. I don't know. To get up there and say this here. Man, we inherited a roster, and these are Steve Sarkisian words, not mine. He's talking about him and his coaching staff. Inherited a roster that is full of talent. He said, man, we by far probably was put in one of the best situations in all of college football. Nobody else really has this. Nobody else has really walked into an actual talented roster other than Ed Orgeron and Ryan Day, but he said, man, we probably walk into one of the most talented rooms in all of college football, and you can't ask for much more. But he also said this here. You can have 4- and 5-star guys all day long. But that didn't mean anything. That didn't win national titles. He said you can have number 1 recruiting class and get all the 4 and 5 stars and go ahead and print national championship on it right there. But that didn't mean anything. That didn't mean you're going to get no national titles. That didn't mean nothing. He said the respect comes on the field. I say, man, you know what? I was kind of laughing at the hire, only because of how the way Texas made it. Texas always blows it up and blows it all kind of out the water. But now I'm looking at the hire, I'm like, damn, man. I think, and this to Longhorn fans, Aggie fans, please, man, listen, because I know you guys are paying attention. You guys may have made one of the best hires in about 10 years. About like 10 years. I think he's the 3rd head coach in the last 8 years, they said. Something like that. This is the 3rd time being a head coach. I have no clue about his head coaching history. I did not see him as a head coach, stuff like that. I will admit that. I'm not going to lie to you, all right? I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I've never seen a man be a head coach. But apparently, it looks like the guy had his head on his shoulder right. He's passionate about what he's doing, and he wants to do this. The only issue that will be with Texas. First of all, there's Longhorns down, being the flag. That's an issue. But the only problem will be, and this has always been with Texas, but at the same time, you guys look like you have a pretty darn good head coach at the moment. Not saying that he's going to win a national title. I don't know that part yet. I'm not going to solidify that. But the problem is that you guys have to get on board. Also, you guys have to give that man time. And also, man, the boosters have to get out of the pot and let the man work. You guys have to let the man work, man. You gotta let him work. You guys cannot do that, okay? That's gonna be the only issue, man, and that's all about I have on that. So the difference, now I'm gonna talk about the difference. The difference between A&M and Texas is that Jimbo Fisher didn't get a chance to inherit a talented roster. What Jimbo Fisher inherited was a top 15 roster. But at the same time, I want to make sure I'm correct on this because it was 2018 when Jimbo Fisher actually started the season. So already when Jimbo Fisher walked in, I'm going to give you the guys in the SEC West that were already up there. So when Jimbo Fisher walked in, the guys in the SEC West that were already at the top, number one was Alabama, 18 5-stars, 51 4-star, 13 3-stars. LSU was number two, 4 5-stars, 48 4-stars, 33 stars. Auburn was number three, 4 5-stars, 41 4-stars, 33 stars. Now I'm reminding you, this is just the SEC West alone. And then Texas A&M was at fourth with 3 5-stars, 29 4-stars, 46 3-stars. So when the talent went up and went against one another, especially against Alabama, and don't get me wrong, and Auburn as well, in which I'd still say you're supposed to win the game. But when they went up against Alabama, for sure, the talent showed the big space and gap in between. It showed a significant gap in between. And that's just what it was, man. That's just what it was. But he did not let that affect anything. He didn't let it affect anything. Like I say, it was a top 15 team that he inherited. But it wasn't enough to soar through the SEC West and gain the number one spot. See, that's the difference. See, Jimbo Fisher had to sit here and he had to build. He had to build. That's why we're so high on him. Us Aggie fans are real high on him. College football world, they don't want to admit it, but they're high on him as well. Now they're high on us this season. Yeah, by all means, they are. They're high on us this season. So that was for the 2017 inherited roster that he had took in. Now, of course, remind you, some of these guys, seniors, stuff like that. Probably, a lot of them had left, by the time he fled into the head coach in 2018, But that's overall what he kind of inherited. So you go to that 2018 season and go through this again. See, Alabama was, of course, number one again. See, these are the monsters that Jimbo Fisher had to take on while building his success. So, once again, number one was Alabama. 12 5-stars, 51 4-stars, 18 3-stars. Number two was LSU, 4 5-stars, 46 4-stars, 28 3-stars. Number three was Auburn, 2 5-stars, 42 4-stars, 34 3-stars. And number four again was Texas A&M with 1 5-star, 34 4-stars, 53 stars. This is when he turned into the head. See, this is what I be telling you guys about. He had to build something. A lot of people say stars don't matter, stuff like that. Okay, I'm not gonna argue that. But he was number 4 in the SEC West alone. He was number 7 in the SEC. A&M was number 7 with overall talent in the SEC, period. All right, so you guys have to really, really fully understand that, man. He didn't have a chance to inherit, a roster like others did, man. And I mean, it was what he wasn't able to inherit a roster like Ed Orgeron did. So it was what it was. Also, he was one of the guys that didn't accept any transfer quarterbacks, man. He did not. He worked with what he had during while at quarterbacks. Come to think about it, I don't know if he ever, even at Florida State, I don't know if he ever took in transfer quarterbacks, to be honest with you. But he doesn't go looking for that. He likes to work with the guys he already have. So you guys have to understand that, and the difference is that Jimbo Fisher has a head start. He's in the SEC West, and he's been able to get that number 2 spot 2 out of 3 years. So overall, who has to bear the coach? Of course, it's going to be A&M. It's going to be, Texas A&M Aggies have to bear the coach. The better success on the field, of course, is us for right now. Steve ain't started yet. But will we have the better success for the decade going period? Yes, we will. We will. But I just want to put that out there. Like I say, homemade podcast of Sports Extra. My wife is sitting over here a little bit upset, but she'll be okay. She's a little bit upset. It's family time, guys. My father-in-law has a whole party in just a little bit, so I'm trying to make this as quick as possible, But yeah, even my kids over here looking at me like, golly, man, another video again? Yeah, hey, this is how the way it goes, And if we was to get big, look at her. See, she's passing me stuff right now. See, we work as a team, guys. If you guys are out there, husband and wife, starting as a younger couple, stuff like that, gotta work as a team, man. You guys too. So these are my wife's candles. Once again, Dope Scents. Her page on Instagram is Dopeness Styles. I love promoting her stuff. And she was here today. She usually don't be here with me on the weekdays because we work separate shifts. So these are Dope Scents. And also this one here is another one that's Dope Scent. So Aggieland, please, man, be looking for me. And I'm gonna come down there with a little bit of merchandise, when we come for that first game. Yes, we will be in our red, white, and blue. Yes, I've already got the memo, y'all. Y'all know that. And this is another one that's Dope Scents, man. This is, once again, these are my wife's candles. This is what you put in to the candle warmer. I believe that's what it's called. So this is for all the ladies. Ladies, y'all know what exactly I'm talking about. Just let me know, man. But that's all I have for you guys. Just still be looking out for the commitment. If that guy commits to A&M, or even if he doesn't, Keon Sabb, the #1 athlete in the country. If he doesn't, even if he doesn't commit to A&M, I will still come out with something. But like I say, man, once again, just be looking for our recruiting rankings will start going up, people. It's still early in the season, still real early. I'm still very high on Harold Perkins. I'm still very high on Denver Harris, and I'm still very, very high on the safety of Bryce Anderson. Once again, it's down to 2, either Texas or Texas A&M. I believe we'll get it. We will. I'm very, very confident on that. Also, man, to the Oregon fans, I haven't got a chance to get to you guys because I keep on forgetting about it. When I made that video, you guys all remember about the wide receiver Isaiah Santanega from Arkansas up there that had committed to us, but then had decommitted. It's about everybody that came on that video. Yeah, you missed one, didn't you? Guys, the guy had already committed then. Stop it. Stop it, man. With Kevin Banks, I got a lot of views on that video, and a lot of guys had something to say on that. Yeah, you missed one on that one, J-Pop. You missed one. All the Oregon fans, the Ducks came all the way from Oregon and out of nowhere, but that's where Oregon is at. It's located in the middle of nowhere. Just like they say Aggieland is located in the middle of nowhere. But you guys are in the middle of nowhere, and they had everything to say. Oh, y'all missed one, Kevin Banks, blah, 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 blah. When he decommits, Don't you come on here looking crazy and say I ain't tell you so. I'm gonna say that once again. When he decommits, don't you come over here looking crazy. And oh man, well y'all gotta be doing something up there. You know how you guys get. Well, anyways, guys, that's all I have for you guys. Homemade Podcast Sports once again with your host J Pops. This is Homemade Podcast of Sports Extra. Have a very blessed weekend. I'll talk to you guys on Monday. #Geek.
And thank you guys for tuning in to the #Homemade Podcast Sports. Please, guys, subscribe to the YouTube page and also follow me on Twitter @JPops, on Instagram @JPops, and also on Facebook at #Homemade Podcast Sports. Thank you guys once again. #GigMaggis.